Ready? Well, if it ain't no clear as this, I can't see nothing. So. Last time on the Pelican Bay trip 2020, we left Cayo Costa headed north, but before that, we stopped on the north end of Cayo Costa at Boca Grande Pass. Got in the water, did a little bit of maintenance, cleaning on the boat, and then we found that the visibility was pretty bad and we headed on north. Next stop for Placida. Okay, for the question giveaway for the koozie giveaway this week. For those that are new to the channel, hit that notification bell because we do a giveaway the first minute of each video. Next week is going to be a little better, so y'all stay tuned. But I used a nautical term when Marty and I were setting the anchor. I said make sure there's enough watt put out. It is the term used for the amount of rope from the chain to the boat. Put that in the comments, and the first one that gets it in the comments, we're going to send you a free koozie. Okay, so we made our way on up there and got up to Placida, and there's a train trestle right there, and we figured we would stop, fish around that before heading north. We needed to get some bait, so I took the bass raider, worked over to where it got shallow as where the rail tracks came down, where obviously Good Times was as deep, but then as the tracks went back it got shallow, and you'll see where I was even able to walk through the net and got a little bit of bait there, and then tried to do a little bit of fishing around the trestle. So right here I want to talk real quick about the net. The net for getting bait is obviously one of the best ways to do it, and I also want to just encourage you, if you've never thrown one, to learn how to do it. But go buy you a net, especially if you live near any salt water, and you will be amazed when you go out on the flats. Now you don't want to be in deep water, you got to be in 3-5 foot water, something like that. And go out there and throw the net. You'll obviously catch bait, but you would be amazed at all the different things that you see or that you do catch. Not that you need to keep them, starfish and different things. And if you have kids, this is one of the cheapest, easiest ways to get out on the water and just really enjoy and have a great time. I've done this more times than I can count without my boat, and throwing the net and finding different things is probably one of the biggest hits on Good Time. If you're interested in throwing the net, how about leave me a comment? I want to see if I get enough interest, and I'll make a video about throwing the net. I'll get with a couple other people. There's different styles of throwing the net, and so if you're interested, just leave me a comment that you would be interested in it, or just what you know about nets. Alright, in the captain's corner, I always try to teach a little something in each video, and since we're here, we'll talk about nets. Now, this is not going to be teaching you how to throw the net. That would take a whole video by itself, but basically about where to throw the net. So these nets, without having food for bait, you typically want to be in less than 3 foot water. You can go deeper, but if you're on a boat, but in general being about 3 foot water. And you'll know what I'm notice when I'm looking out there is the light color is the sand and the darker color is the grass. All your little pinfish and bait fish are typically going to be hiding in the grass. Just if you imagine a desert and sand and there's trees and it's hot, you're going to not just stand out in the desert, you're going to go near the trees and seek cover. Well, the bait fish do the same thing. They seek cover in the grass. So try to find you some grass, and or up near any beach edges where the water gets shallow. Your smaller fish are going to be in those areas, and you can throw the net in up to 1 or 2 foot water, and you can almost always catch bait fish as well. One other thing I wanted to mention about when you're casting the net and you're basically sight fishing, if the water is shallow enough, you can see the fish inside the grass. So if you get up, especially up on a little boat, you can see it very well. But walk around and kind of look for that in the grasses, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll get used to seeing it, and then you'll know where to throw the net. But I also want to say that you can throw the net in most places in saltwater where there's grass and catch fish. You don't necessarily have to see them. Okay, so what I do is I normally have a 5-gallon bucket full of water, and you notice I'll take the net and drop it, the weights into the bucket, and then you can just start picking and shaking it, and the fish will normally fall out, and every now and again they'll be stuck. The gills will be stuck and you'll have to force them out, but it's pretty easy to do. Also, I want to encourage you to basically just get what you need. You know, you on a place like this, you get a couple dozen or a dozen. You can always go get more. It's always very easy. So, you know, just get what you need and then let the rest go. So just in the sense of adventuring, I went over here to where the trussels were. I just like to look around, but I also wanted to throw the net near the structure. Now this can be good and bad. It can be good that you can sometimes throw the net one time, get all the bait that you need. It can be bad that you can get stuck on structure, as you'll see, but I did recover the net, and I'll show you how I did that. So right here is where I pushed my luck. If you notice on that first throw, I threw it away from the bridge a little bit. And normally you're just letting it go down to get 4 or 5 foot below the water. And if you've trapped them, you'll already have them. You try to keep it off the bottom when you're near any structure. And you could pretty much expect around a bridge or anything like this, there's going to be debris in the water. So my next throw was too close to the bridge and I got hung up. Alright, so the best thing to do, which is kind of similar when you get hung up with your rod and reel, you're stuck on something. If you keep pulling it, you're going to break it or you're going to tear it in the case of the nets. So I'm going to come at it from a different angle, try to get over the top of it, because many times if you can do that, you'll be able to get it free. Alright, after that incident of getting my net caught, I counted myself lucky to get it out. So I had enough bait fish It's time to head back to good times. So after we got our bait that we were going to plan to use a little bit later, we pulled the anchor and we started heading north. This is that area just before Venice. It's obviously a man-made with all them rocks and all. And I'll show you a picture overhead, but the ocean just beyond that. That's probably not even 100 yards wide. If they ever took a direct hit on a hurricane, there's a section back there that's probably not 30 yards wide. If they took a direct hit, it might open up an inlet there. So narrow, but at least other than the boat traffic, you don't have too many waves. And we do have the occasional prick that comes by throwing a wave like what's in the ocean. But other than that, it's pretty nice. It's really pretty, natural. Made our way working on up through the ditch. As you can see here, we went around a curve that we're actually going to come back to in a minute. But we worked our way up the ditch and we actually stopped right there at a marina. We got some fuel, and when I was thinking about it, I was like, heck, let's turn around and go back, because we were trying to get to the beach and let's explore this one area. And I'm glad we did, because we were able to find an area to anchor. We anchored right here that you can see. It was right on the corner. Put out 2 anchors, and then we went over to where the beach, there's a pretty steep grade there, and we walked across, and then we came out right on the beach. It was very nice, and I'll show you some video of that. Okay, this video is going to get 2 captain's corners, and the reason is I don't want to miss this part. You know it's bad when the video is laying down on its side, meaning something's more important than videoing. And in this case, we backed up, and the line that was pulling the kayaks got tied up in the prop. Now, the reason this is a captain's corner is this is definitely going to happen, whether it's something you're pulling, you pick up a crab pot, or the other 5,000 things that are out there that can get rope or something in your prop. So what I strongly suggest, if you're doing any tripping, that you have gear that you can get down in the water, and that you have a very sharp knife so that you can cut loose whatever's there, or else you're going to be calling for help. This happens more than I would like, but I'm always prepared, and I can usually mitigate the problem.
Think you'll be able to see down there?
Well, yeah, just barely, but I can see. Pull that.
There we go. You free?
It's cut though, I think. Yeah, here.
Is that cut?
There's a little bit, yeah.
Oh,
Here
yeah.
you go, you can tie it. Retie.
How about their prop? Has it got any rope in there?
Yeah, a little bit.
That's great. Fairly easy fix. We'll look at it again.
Ed, that was sand earlier, so.
Yeah, you should be good at it.
So I don't know if you can tell or not, but we turned around, went back south. After we stopped and we're going to try to find a way over to the beach, that's where we got the rope caught in the prop. And I kind of wanted to head north after that, but then the more I thought about it, after we got fuel, I wanted to find a way to the beach. So we turned around and we headed back to this little spot that ended up being perfect. And I'll show you the video from that.
We got a stern anchor out, keep our bow into the waves from people coming from either direction. And then Mike and the dogs and myself are going to go exploring. Oh dear. Oh my god, this rain is going.
Yeehaw! Ride 'em, cowboy. This is the best way, man.
You got a bridle up there.
Yeah.
What? Did you bring the battery? I think I need to tie onto those mangroves, and then we... Yeah? Needlefish.
Only problem with this is it ain't, but it should keep it floating.
I think it's going to be fine, fine.
If you tie to the very end of the rope, you should be able to pull the boat up on shore. And then my feet won't get wet. I'll pull it back around. The best at the moment, but... No, I'm just, if you want to jump out. I'm trying to keep it like in the water, like as much in the water as I...
So we got the dinghy tied up there. I do know how to tie knots. I'm just joking. That's what I tell people all the time. If you can't tie a knot, tie a lot. And we can see we were a little bit concerned because some big boats come by and they were throwing very big waves. That's why that hill was washed out like that. So we walked across this area here. I'm not sure what it's used for. You can tell there's some vehicles drive down in there. And it wasn't far, and then we were working over to the beach side.
Looks like somebody drug a kayak up here.
Sounds like the ocean.
It's like somebody comes down on a... The trail was up here, as I remember. It was at an angle.
Okay, guys, this video's reached over its 15-minute mark. You know, I try to keep them around to that area. People say they can't watch too much more than that. The next video is going to be right when we come on to the beach, so I'm going to give you a little teaser here. Also, guys, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button If you hadn't subscribed, do that. And if you don't mind, share this with somebody. I'd really appreciate you getting the word out. Y'all come on back next video. It's gonna be a good time.
Oh yes, the water is beautiful. Good Lord, it is nice. Man. That's it.
Okay guys, for those that want the extended version, I'm gonna leave you with a little time-lapse video. Y'all enjoy.
I don't know how to get here.